Most coaches I speak to have tried AI, maybe ChatGPT or Claude, and thought, well, that was fine. But fine isn't going to help you to stand out, win more clients, or save you serious time in your business. Here is the core principle I want you to take away today. AI is average by default, but if you train it like your best team member, it becomes one of the most valuable assets in your business. ChatGPT has just released its Model 5, and I'm absolutely wowed by the impact. I pay for my ChatGPT so I can upload files and it gives better reasoning. It's been an absolute joy for me at the moment because I'm selling my home at the moment and having huge legal issues. And I've been up in the loft recently scanning 1900s handwritten deeds and scanning them to ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to transcribe them, to tell me how they might help my case. So I've been even more wowed by ChatGPT recently in my personal life as well as professional life. As a quick personal update, it's currently the 12th of August when I'm recording this. I take all 6 weeks of the school summer holidays off, and I was super organized and got everything recorded, edited, scheduled, all of my social media. And then after this amazing experience with ChatGPT, I couldn't resist sneaking on here to share more about how to train your AI to be your best assistant. I've also created something to help you put this into action. It's called 2 Prompts to Make AI Your Best Assistant. There are simple copy and paste prompts you can use straight away to get AI working for you like a long-term teammate who knows your stuff, not a robot spitting out generic text. You can grab it for free and the link is in the show notes. I will remind you again at the end. The first time I used AI, I typed in something along the lines of write a blog for coaches, and it churned something out that sounded like a GCSE business studies essay. Nothing I'd put my name to. And here is why. I was not spending long enough giving it the context behind what I wanted it to do. It's like hiring a VA and saying, write my newsletter without telling them who it's for, your style, or what success looks like. AI will only ever be as good as the training you give it. So if you want it to help with your marketing, you need to treat it like you are onboarding a team member. I spent a ton of time doing this prior to going on holiday, especially in terms of my content and sharing more stories about me and my background. So I fed it a mass of stuff I have on storytelling, and then I asked it to ask me questions to get my best stories out of me. And then I asked it to remember this and save it to memory so it can pull those in anytime I ask it to help me in future. So that's one really small example of how I have trained my AI to know me and to create even better content than it usually spits out. So let's create a mindset shift for you now, because most people think of AI as a search engine or a shortcut, and that is why they get bland results. Instead, how about thinking of AI as a colleague you are training to work in your business? When you do that, it starts asking you better questions. For example, what tone should I use for potential clients? What is the emotional shift you want to get your audience to feel? How do you define great when it comes to written content? Once AI starts thinking ahead like this, you spend less time fixing and more time creating. So let me take you through my Coach AI 5-part partnership method. Step 1 is to define the role and not just the task. Instead of write me a LinkedIn post, say something like, you are my marketing assistant. Your role is to create great content for coaches who want to get clients with honesty, not hype. Use warm, strategic conversational tone, avoid jargon and use British spelling, and keep paragraphs short. I would also add, use all of the things that you know about me from our history of working together to bring in anything relevant. Okay, so now you have defined the role of the AI in that particular conversation. Step 2 is to let it onboard itself. So you can ask, what 10 questions do you need to understand my style, audience, and preferences? And then you answer in detail, just like you would with a real team member. It's the sort of task that we can easily put off, and I put it off for absolutely ages. And I'm so grateful to have spent that 30 to 60 minutes having these conversations with my ChatGPT so it can get to know me and do a better job for me. So it really is a case of putting the work in up front to get better results in the long term. Step 3 is give it real work and coach the output. So don't wait until it's ready, give it a real job, then explain why something works or doesn't work. So don't feel like you have to have all of this in place. The best thing is now with ChatGPT 5, especially, it will remember your feedback. So you can start, if you want, with give me a LinkedIn post. And if it's terrible, say why it's terrible, what you want more of. So, for example, I say often now is, no, this is terrible. It sounds like AI. I want more of my personality in there. I want a relevant story from my background in here. So, due to your feedback, AI will get even better. So, instead of just feeling frustrated that it's rubbish, keep talking to it and tell it why it's rubbish and what it can do to make it better. Step 4 is to save the gold. So when something is right, then keep it. Ask ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using to add it to its memory. You can also create custom GPTs and add files, for example, your brand guide and things like that. But what I found lately is you can just say, I love this. Please save this in your memory. This is the style I like. And step 5 is to keep it current. So your offers, priorities, and tone evolve just as you do as a coach. Re-onboard your AI every few months. Keep chatting to it. Keep thinking, what am I doing lately? What have I told it about? What haven't I told it about? And really keep updating it just as you would a normal team member. So let's turn to some practical ways you can use this right now. Once you have trained it, AI can help you to draft newsletters in your voice, summarize coaching calls for follow-up, including, like I spoke about earlier, taking a photo of your notes and uploading them into ChatGPT, asking it to transcribe them and summarize them. I was absolutely wowed. It could read my crazily messy handwriting. Research podcast opportunities for you to pitch on. So you can say, here's what I do, here's my speciality. I would love to speak on some podcasts, tell it a bit more about you. And it can actually do that research for you and create the list. Turn your workshop or anything else you do into a lead magnet. So as you'll have noticed, that's exactly what I've done with this episode. I haven't created a new lead magnet for absolutely ages. So I thought, why not actually use the framework that I've worked hard to create in this episode for you into a lead magnet so you actually implement after this podcast. And finally, you can use it to role play a tricky conversation. So, for example, last night when I was doing all of this legal work, I said, act as if you are working for the other side now and tell me what type of arguments they are going to have so we can incorporate those into our letter to them right from the start. So it isn't about replacing you, it's about freeing you up to focus on only the work you can do, which is showing up with all of your humanity, with your amazing clients, perhaps doing things like workshops, maybe voice noting potential clients, all of those things that you can now be freed up for because AI has taken so much off your plate. If you only remember one thing from this episode, please remember this core principle. AI is average by default, but if you train it to be your best team member, it becomes one of the most valuable assets in your business. If you would like to make this practical right away, like I've mentioned, I've created 2 prompts to make AI your best assistant quickly. I have done this because I've downloaded so many lead magnets that I feel are utterly useless and give me 20 pages of fluff, but no real easy, quick way to do this. So I created it myself. They are really simple copy and paste prompts that you can use today in your AI to train it to understand your voice and style. and to create content that creates conversations, because conversations lead to conversions. It is completely free, and you can find the link to the 2 AI prompts to make your AI your best assistant in the show notes. So do go and grab that now. I promise you the time you put in today will save you hours and hours in the future. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you start using AI to save you buckets of time going forward. And like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalotcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lot with 2 T's, joannalotcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend, and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly, and try.